Ladies and gents, welcome back with Landshark Dane, your host with the most. We're discussing business, boys, the business of boxing, or should I say, even so, the sweet science. We're gonna break it down to the molecular level, and we're gonna figure out which punches in boxing are the best. Up first, we have the cross, the right overhand, the straight, the chopping right. It's the 2 in the 1-2. The follow-up to the setup. We know we gotta put it in A tier. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's in A tier because it is strong, but it's not quite S tier because it's not quite as important or as trademark staple for boxing as some of these other punches. You will see, and you will agree. The right cross is wicked because it is a finishing move. It does a lot of damage and it will catch people off guard often. Let's take a look at very famous boxer Thomas the Hitman Hearns, known for his chopping right cross and the devastating effects it had on his opponents. Our first punch in S tier. Why is it in S tier? Well, you see, a good right hand will take you around the block, but a good left hand will take you around the world. The jab is most definitely one of the most effective, useful, vital, as well as important punches in the very basics of boxing. And without mastering the jab, you will not master boxing. The jab is good for distance. It keeps him back. It's your gauge. It tells you where you're at. It's your setup. It's the 1 to the 1-2. It's the setup to the follow-up. You see where I'm getting, folks. Now, the rear hook is definitely a punch to be feared. I put it at C tier, not because it's a bad punch, but because it's simply overshadowed by some of these great punches.
Swing around on your opponent's side and then crack.
Oh, he got a right uppercut, another right uppercut, and down.
It would seem that I have already revealed our next punch. It might be a surprise to you why I've put it so high up at A tier. It could be because I am partly biased. This happens to be one of my favorite punches because it's so good at cracking through a defense. If I'm like this with my gloves, I can get hit here, that's okay, I can block most of it, but sometimes I forget to go like this, and that's when the uppercut really shines because it cracks right through the defense and right into your nose. The uppercut is a great counter from the slip to the uppercut. Inside, extremely good counter, extremely powerful, and also it's very good for digging into that stomach, ravaging the body of your opponents.
Davis thought Santa Cruz was going to fold from his... Oh, my!
Now the shovel hook, also known as a smash, and it was partly invented by Donovan Razor Ruddock, who used it to very devastating effects. What he would do is it looked a lot like sort of a jab hook, and sometimes it was the lead, sometimes it was the rear, but what it would do is dig into the solar plexus, the gut, sometimes the chin, and he was very good. I'll show some clips now. But it was a very good punch just for that power, keeping them at bay, catching them with a knockout if they're caught sleeping. The reason why I have it a bit lower than some of these other punches are sometimes it's not as practical, whether it be in sparring, actual bouts. You leave yourself open, wide open, so you have to use it at the right time, but that's honestly like any punch on this list. The liver shot. The famous, infamous, dreaded liver shot. Yes, it is S tier. If you get hit with it, you're also getting hit with S tier pain about 2 seconds right after, where your body will shut down, your legs won't work, and you'll just curl up on one knee like, ugh. it's so useful. To master the liver shot, it's an extremely dangerous weapon, and you level up your skills and your danger level as a fighter by a lot. Nobody wants to fight the body shot guy. Now, the bolo punch, there's two kinds of bolo punches. The teasing one where you're like, ah.
You can see how Leonard's confidence has grown. Now the bolo, and he caught him.
You pop them and they don't expect it. Or there's also the other one where it's like a fake out. Boom, boom, ah. And it kind of fakes them out. It's like a delayed sort of hit. Now, to be honest, I haven't seen the second version of the bolo punch. This one, very much, but I can recognize the power. I do have it at C tier, our worst tier so far, except for the trash bin, just because it's not so practical and you don't want to spam it in sparring, or you're going to be spamming burpees from your coach. Now, something's off. I feel like we're missing a punch. Now, the left hook obviously ascends tier lists. It ascends these other punches because it is no longer bound by our three-dimensional plane. It has risen to a much higher, superior ground than that on which we stand. So the left hook is the best punch in boxing because it is the most versatile. It is the most, well, the jab is pretty quick, but it can be fast too, and it's also a knockout punch. If you disagree with me, but I think that the left hook is one of, if not the best punches in boxing.